Then again, the tumult and clamor ceased, and all was silent. In the quiet stillness, madness broke out among men. Frenzy and shouting filled the air. They fell upon one another in senseless, wanton bloodshed. Neither did they spare women or child, for they knew not what they did. They ran unseen, dashing themselves to destruction. They fled to caves and were buried, and, taking refuge in trees, they were hung. There was rape, murder, and violence of every kind. Some of the people were saved upon the mountainsides, upon the flotsam, but they were scattered far apart over the face of the earth. They fought for survival in the lands of uncouth people. Amid coldness, they survived in caves and sheltered places. Book of Creation 4:14. The land of the little people and the land of the giants, the land of the necklace ones and the land of marshes and mists, the lands of the east and west were all inundated. The mountain land and the lands of the south, where there is gold and great beasts, were not covered by the waters. There were less than children in those days and could not know that God had afflicted the earth in understanding and not willfully for the sake of man in the correction of his ways. In the book of Creation 4:16, we read, "The earth is not for the pleasure of man, but it is a place of instruction for his soul. A man more readily feels the stirrings of his spirit in the face of disaster than in the lap of luxury. The tuition of the soul is a long and arduous course of instruction and training." Sounds like reincarnation theology to me. Rebirth and simulation till the soul is ready to exit. Now, we get to the next book, the Colburn Bible. It's called the Book of Gleanings. In the Book of Gleanings 4:15, we read, "The remnants of the sons of Nazirah remained upon the mountains which are against Ardis, by the land about the encampment of Lamech. In Ardis there were wise men filled with inner wisdom, who read the book of heaven with understanding and knew the signs. They saw the deeds of men in all the lands about the mountains, and how it brought them to that hour. Then the day came when the lady of the night changed her garment for one of a different hue, and her form swept more swiftly across the skies. Her tresses streamed out behind in gold and copper, and she rode in a chariot of fire. The people in those days were a great multitude, and a loud cry ascended into heaven. The wise men went to Sharapik, now called Serapesh, and said to Sesuda the king, 'Behold, the years are shortened, and the hour of trial draws nigh.'" Book of Gleanings 4:24. "Then, with the dawning, men saw an awesome sight. There, riding on a black rolling cloud, came the destroyer, newly released from the confines of the sky vaults, and she raged about the heavens, for it was her day of judgment. The beast with her opened its mouth and belched forth fire, hot stones, and a vile smoke. It covered the whole sky, and the meeting place of earth and heaven could no longer be seen. In the evening, the places of the stars were changed. They rolled across the sky to new stations. Then the floodwaters came." The Book of Enoch also describes a minor pole shift, not total lithospheric displacement as happened in 3895 BC or year one of the pre-flood world. The new heavens and the new earth, the vapor canopy world beginning. This was a temporal pole shift. There was no crustal displacement. With this passage in the Book of Gleanings, chapter 4, we arrive at the Great Deluge, 2239 BC, the month of May. In 425, we read, "The floodgates of heaven were opened, and the foundations of earth broke apart. The surrounding waters poured over the land and broke upon the mountains. The storehouses of the winds burst their bolts asunder, so storms and whirlwinds were loosed to hurl themselves upon the earth. In the seething waters and howling gales and buildings were destroyed. Trees were uprooted, mountains cast down. There was a time of great heat, then came bitter cold. The waves over the waters did not rise and fall, but seethed and swirled. There was an awful sound above." Book of the Gleanings 4:26. "The pillars of heaven were broken and fell down to earth. The sky vault was rent and broken. The whole of creation was in chaos. The stars in the heavens were loosened from their places, so they dashed about in confusion. There was a revolt on high. A new ruler appeared there and strode across the sky in majesty. The destroyer passed away into the fastness of heaven, and the great flood remained 7 days, diminishing day by day as the waters drained away to their places. Then the waters spread out calmly, and the great ship drifted amid a brown scum and debris of all kinds. In the Colburn Bible, we get to the Book of Scrolls. In the Book of Scrolls 33:23, we read, "We had been told the ways of men from olden times, but we heeded not the warning." 33:24, "Now the truth is scattered to the four quarters of the earth." 33:25, "These writings have been rewritten with diligent care. They have been transcribed exactly as they are, and no thought or belief of mine has gone into them. May those to whom they come as a heritage be no less circumspect in dealing with them." The Book of the Sons of Fire. "They came from the temple of the lake dedicated to the bright-bearded one, who once saved earth from destruction through fiery hail by making it third round." The Book of Manuscripts, Chapter 1, Scroll of Emod. It begins, "The writings from olden days tell of strange things and of great happenings in the times of our fathers who lived in the beginning. All men can know of such times is declared in the Book of Ages. But the gods had their birth in events and things which were in the beginning time." Chapter 3, The Destroyer, Part 1. "Men forget the days of the destroyer. Only the wise know where it went, and that it will return at its appointed hour." Book of Manuscripts 3:2. "It raged across the heavens in the days of wrath, and this is its likeness. It was as a billowing cloud of smoke and wrapped in a ruddy glow, not distinguishable in joint or limb. Its mouth was an abyss from which came flame, smoke, and hot cinders." When ages pass, certain laws operate upon the stars in the heavens. Their ways change. There is movement and restlessness. They are no longer constant, and a great light appears redly in the skies. Redly in the skies. Phoenix appears initially as a strange red star. Remember that. Same book, chapter 3, verse 4. "When blood drops upon the earth, the destroyer will appear, and mountains will open up and belch forth fire and ashes. Trees will be destroyed, and all living things engulfed. Waters will be swallowed up by the land and sea, and the sea will boil." There it is again. Red rains, blood rains are a Phoenix phenomenon. Negro records have never yielded a similar description. Now, 3:5, "The heavens will burn brightly and redly. There will be a copper hue over the face of the land, followed by a day of darkness. A new moon will appear and break up and fall." 3:6, "The people will scatter in madness. They will hear the trumpet and battle cry of the destroyer and will seek refuge within dens in the earth. Terror will eat away at their hearts. Their courage will flow from them like water from a broken pitcher. They will be eaten up in the flames of wrath and consumed by the breath of the destroyer." We're experiencing right now is a simulation. We are inside a series of simulations that are all being run inside of a construct. And this construct very well may be on a capital ship between two systems. Space may very well be all real with quasars, pulsars, all that stuff, but it's not real from our perspective. What we're looking at is a multi-tiered hologram. It is completely fake.